Today we're going to look at how to use the future forms to make plans. Let's begin with a review of verb forms that we already know. Now every verb has different forms. For example, the infinitive, in this case the verb take. In its present form we would have takes. For example, he takes, she takes. We have the past form of a verb, in this case, took. Then we have the past participle form of the verb, in this case, taken, and the present participle form of the verb, in this case, with the ing, taking. Now we need these different verb forms in order to do things such as giving commands or instructions, in which case we would use the infinitive form of the verb. When we want to form the present simple tense, we would use the present form. To make the past simple tense, we would use the past simple form. For the perfect tenses, we would need the past participle form. And finally, for the continuous tenses, we would need to use the present participle form of the verb. But what about the future tense? Let's take a look at how we would form future tenses. To begin, when we want to express fixed personal arrangements, something that we have already arranged to do in the future, we would use the present continuous form, in this case, am, is, or are, plus the present participle form of the main verb that we're using. Let's take a look at some examples. I'm taking a train home tomorrow. Now, if we were to say, I'm taking a train home, that would indicate the present continuous tense, an action that we are doing at the moment. With the addition of a future time, in this case the word tomorrow, we can indicate a future fixed personal arrangement. Another example, we are watching the soccer match this weekend. So not at the moment, but this weekend. Present continuous plus a future time frame. Another example, he's sending the report tonight. Note that we can also use the verb has or have arranged to plus the infinitive form of whatever main verb we are using. We can also use the phrase to be due to plus the infinitive form of the main verb that we are using. Let's take a look at some examples. I've arranged to take a train home tomorrow. So using have arranged to plus the infinitive form of the verb take to do an action I have planned for tomorrow. Another example, she's arranged to watch the soccer match this weekend. Again, using has arranged to plus the infinitive form of the verb watch to do an action I have planned in the future. In this case, this weekend. Finally, he's due to send the report tonight. Using the phrase is due to plus the infinitive form of the verb send to do an action that I have planned for tonight. Now, what about formal scheduled events? Arrangements that have been planned according to a timetable. In this case, we can use the present simple. And the form, of course, would be using the present form of the verb plus a specific scheduled time in the future. Let's take a look at some examples. The train gets in at 5:30 p.m. So the present simple form of the verb to get plus a future time, in this case 5:30 in the evening. Another example, the movie starts at midnight. So the present form of the verb to start with a future time, midnight. The meeting begins at 1 p.m. sharp. This is the present form of the verb to begin with the future time, 1 p.m. Finally, the exam is due to begin at 2:15. So the present simple form of the verb to be, in this case is, with a future time, 2:15. Now, if we intend to express a clear intention of something we want to do in the future, there are various forms we could use. Let's take a look at the first form, using to be plus going to plus the infinitive form of the main verb we're talking about. For example, I'm going to visit my grandmother tomorrow. So the verb to be, in this case am, plus going to plus visit with a future time of tomorrow. Another example, we're going to buy that car. Using are with going to and the infinitive form of the verb buy. Another example, she's going to reserve the whole restaurant. So is plus going to plus the infinitive form of the verb reserve. There is a second form we could use, and that is using the verb to be, am, is, or are, plus one of the following verbs, planning, or hoping, or intending, to, plus the infinitive form of the main verb. For example, I'm planning to visit my grandmother tomorrow. So am plus planning to with the infinitive form of the verb visit. Another example, we're hoping to buy that car. In this case, using are with hoping to plus the infinitive form of the verb buy. And finally, she's intending to reserve the whole restaurant. So using is plus intending to plus the infinitive form of the verb reserve. There's a final form we could use to express a clear intention of the future action we want to do, and that is using the verb to be plus thinking of plus the present participle form of the main verb. Let's take a look at some examples. I'm thinking of visiting my grandmother tomorrow. So using the verb am plus thinking of plus visit with the ing, present participle form of the main verb. Another example, we're thinking of buying that car. So using are plus thinking of plus the present participle form of the verb buy. And finally, She's thinking of reserving the whole restaurant. So using is plus thinking of plus the present participle form of the verb reserve. And all these three forms can be used to express a clear intention of something we want to do in the future. Let's move on now. What if we want to express a less certain intention? Then we could use this form, might or may plus the infinitive form of the verb. For example, I might watch a movie after the test, but then again I'm not sure, so this is a possibility, it is a less certain intention. Another example, we may sell the house, but again, this is not confirmed, using may plus the infinitive form of the verb sell. One more example, he might play for the national team. This is a possibility, it is not confirmed, and we use might plus the infinitive form of the verb play. There is a second form we could use to express a less certain intention, and this is to use the verb will plus the infinitive with words like maybe, perhaps, or probably. Let's take a look at some examples. Maybe I'll watch a movie after the test. So, will watch, will plus the infinitive of the verb watch, with the word maybe. Another example, perhaps we'll sell the house. So, using will sell plus the word perhaps. Again, this indicates an action that is not certain, it is not confirmed. One final example, he'll probably play for the national team. Using will plus the infinitive of the verb play with the word probably. So the words maybe, perhaps, and probably qualifies our intention, our certainty of doing an action in the future. We'll move on. In order to express a plan formed at the moment of speaking, we could use the form will plus the infinitive. So these are plans which are formed spontaneously without much prior thinking. Let's look at some examples. Look, it's snowing. I'll make a snowman. So no planning beforehand, I'll make a snowman, using will plus the infinitive of the verb make. Another example, I'm tired. I think I'll take a nap. So at the moment of speaking, I decide to take a nap. We use will plus the infinitive form of the verb take. One more example. I wish I had some ice cream. I'll just run down to the shop. Again, an impromptu idea, something you decide spontaneously. We use will plus the infinitive form of the verb run. Well, now that we've taken a look at the different future forms to express our plans for the future, it's time for you to practice. That's it for this session, and thank you.